You see these UK riots, yeah? If anything, it needs to be an eye-opener to our community. Africans versus Caribbeans is dumb. Nigerians versus Ghanaians. West Africans versus South Africans. West Africans versus East Africans. Afrobeats versus Amapiano and Afrobeats versus reggae versus bashment. It doesn't matter. And not even just the black community. Black versus brown. It doesn't matter. All of it is dumb. To these people, we are all the same. We need to start moving in solidarity, because in this country, in this UK, they don't consider us as the same as them. And I'm not talking all white people. I'm talking about the racists. And there's a lot more racists out there than you think. There is a reason why we often feel like we can't bring our true selves to work. There's a reason why whenever we talk about racism, it's problems. There's a reason why just the other day we had to celebrate the fact that an all black dark-skinned couple just won Love Island after 12 series? It's in our face all the time. So all these stupid conversations that we have are too inconsequential. So let's wrap it up.
So let's talk about what's happening in the UK with the riots happening up and down the country. Now, at the end of the day, these protests were started after innocent British children were basically stabbed to death by a Ugandan immigrant. And this has been bubbling under the surface for a long time, and I cannot understand how it is suddenly far right to not want your children to be killed. Can someone explain that to me?
The disgraceful riots that have been going on for the last week in the UK, and more importantly, why I strongly believe that immigrants, asylum seekers, and ethnic minorities are providing a huge existential threat for the English working class. And these riots are the result of that deep resentment. For over the last 2 centuries, the English working class have formed a strong identity rooted in suffering and systemic oppression, starting with the Industrial Revolution, to post-war Britain, to Thatcher's England, and the 2008 financial crisis, so on and so on. Also, over the last 200 years, the one thing English working class have found great pride in as well is hard work ethic. They value the man who works long hours to provide for his family. So far, the English working class have historically valued their own suffering and hard work. However, over the last 30 years, England has been taken in a flux of immigrants who have been fleeing war, persecution, intense poverty, or in general, immense hardship. The English working class in this time have digested the immigrants' sufferings on TV, newspaper, media outlet. They are always told how much racism, how much struggles, how much hardship these people have had to face in their life and continue to face living in the UK. This now provides an existential threat to the identity of the English working class. For now, if they perceive other groups in society to be suffering more than them, this will produce deep resentment against those who are competing with English working class values. The fear and resentment is in response to the breakdown of meaning and purpose that the working class have found in their suffering and hard work. What is it all for if now the immigrants are here to replace this culture? Also, when immigrants come over and exhibit a similar or greater work ethic than the English working class, this will be taken as an encroachment on English working class identity. Thus, these riots are an example of deep resentment and powerlessness against the changing culture in England. When you see Farage and Robertson call to get our country back, it's a desperate attempt at self-preservation of a decaying culture in England.
To get the message across that this is England and it's a white country and we are not racist, we are just patriotic.
This is not a third world country and it is an absolute, utter disgrace.
I want to cry when I see it. We're not a third world country.
So a quick message to the racist protesters in the UK. Why don't you take your protests to the NHS, Why don't you guys go to the NHS and protest that you don't want any black, colored or Muslim nurses, doctors, social workers, health carers, support workers, ambulance drivers. You don't want any of them that are black, colored or Muslim, Let's start from there. The SIA licensed people, the security licensed people, you can also go there, and let them know you don't want any black security guys, you don't want any colored Muslim security guys. You can also stop by at the construction, you can stop by the construction guys as well. Tell them you don't want any engineers that are black, you don't want any colored Muslim construction workers. And you can also go to the Olympics. Tell them you don't want any black or colored or Muslim athletes to represent Great Britain. You know, I think that would be good. But you can also go to the England football squad and also say you don't want the likes of them, Saka, Jude Bellingham, and you know they shouldn't play for you guys because you know they're black and some of them are even Muslims. I remember Kopama is black, so you don't want Kopama as well. So don't be selective with your protest, you know, let it go round so that Great Britain can remain great.
What's happening in the UK should teach us a lesson, ladies and gentlemen. It went from a religious battle when they said it's the Muslims, and it went to a black battle. Now they have made it about black people. The fact that white people feel like their country is being taken away by immigrants, I'm pretty much sure it's the same way black African people on the continent of Africa that were around in the times of colonialism, they must have prayed each and every single day. When is this nightmare coming to an end? Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Natskunda Esther. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for passing by. For my outstanding subscribers, thank you so much. I really appreciate your love and support. In today's video, ladies and gentlemen, please give me your honest opinion. Allegedly, a Ugandan man entered a dance class and stabbed kids. 3 of them gone. And hence we are looking at the protests around the UK where white people are sick and tired of black immigrants. Now, a lot of African people in the UK have come out to warn their fellow Africans on the situation that's going on, and this is what they had to say.
Get out the UK. With everything that's going on right now, this is the perfect time to leave, and we're literally settling for this. Bad vibes, protests, everyone's literally angry at themselves. They're angry with their own reality. You know, people wake up and they have nothing to look forward to. There's no inspiration in the UK. People barely even talk to each other, make eye contact.
Literally, I just came back from a holiday, and the minute I stepped off that plane, reality hit me. This is my life. Like, there's got to be more to life than this. Like, there has to be something better than this for my life.
I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes my mind just wanders off. How would it feel to be in a different culture, by the beach, somewhere sunny, where the sky isn't always gloomy and dark? Somewhere where people are happy, they're smiling, they're happy to be alive, they still have a sense of community.
First, don't mind the helicopter around, it's because they're currently protesting against people of color or Muslims in my town here in the UK. I have never felt this unsafe in my life. In all my 26 years of being a black man on this earth, I've been hearing of racism, but for the first time in my life, I feel so unsafe. I won't lie, I'm actually terrified. I'm scared for myself and every black person right now in Middlesbrough. It is crazy.
Guys, please stay safe. This riot is getting crazy. I was thinking it was little. I felt, oh, it can't happen to me, until my family friend just called me how they pursued him. He said he had to run and they were pursuing him. He even had it on camera recorded as they were pursuing him. I hope if he submits it to the police, they can do something about it. But for now, please stay safe. If you're outside on the road, don't use earpod. That's how he walked into danger. Earpod, he didn't even hear. You need to be conscious of your surrounding at this point, especially if you're using public transport, train station. Be conscious. Don't even argue with anybody in a public place. Don't argue with any white person right now, because you don't know what you will say. It will trigger something, because I don't trust what they are capable of right now because of the riot, and you can't tell who is not part of the movement. I don't even know who they are attacking, if it's blacks, if it's Islams. Because it's crazy at this point. We don't know the trigger, because immigrants, everybody's just, because my family friend they pursued, he's a British citizen, he's not an immigrant. I don't know why he was pursued. And I've seen Muslim girls make videos of how they were pursued and attacked. So please guys, stay safe.
First of all, I must stress, I do not condone any type of violence towards anyone, be it old or young, a woman or man or anything. And that man that did that, justice must be served. I do not stand here and be like, oh, because it's a black man, No, he must never be excused. Because this is what happens in society. When one rotten egg does something, then the entire tree is going to become rotten. So I really don't condone people of color going to other countries and then they do atrocities like this that put a bad name on the entire race of black people. However, the fact that this entire thing has turned into black people must get out of the UK. Black people must get out of Europe. Some of the news have come out to change the narrative that, you know what, it was not a Ugandan immigrant where I come from, it's just a 17-year-old boy, But at the end of the day, the main issue is it's a black boy. And I will not say that, oh, when white people do things, they get excused. No. White boy, 12, 10, 20, 30, he must be jailed. Justice has to be served. There's not even justice that can be served to unaliving kids, most especially when they are doing dance classes. Like, how inhuman can you be? However, the fact that white people are using this chance to go on the internet crying to their governments that they want all black people out of the UK, I must stress that until today on the African continent, black people my age, black people that are young, 2-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 50-year-olds are still living in the consequences of white people when they came to Africa, what they did. You cannot tell me that... Guys, ladies and gentlemen, tell me what you think in the comment section. But from my own parts, a white person does not even have a right, most especially a white person from the UK. Like, yo, UK, my darling. When UK people wake up and start putting this thing onto black people, African people, I would like to pose this question to white people. Dear whiteys, now that you see it is not fit for you to have black people in your country, you see they are taking everything from you. You are seeing that black people in the UK are taking over the opportunities. I would like to ask you white people, don't you think this is the same way African people must have felt when you came by force? At least now when black people are coming to the UK, they even ask for visas. But like, your ancestors came by force. By force. Ladies and gentlemen, if we are going to wake up today and say black people must go away from the UK, I really hope it is the same thing that is done unto United Kingdom people in Africa. Africa, they have so many colonies in Africa. They own almost everything when it comes to minerals that we have. Our countries are still in debt because of the whites, the UK, the Brits. The Brits are still benefiting from the diamonds from Botswana. They are still benefiting from the whatevers that come from DRC Congo. They are still benefiting from, oh, River Nile, we discovered, oh, Sir Albert Cook discovered Uganda. Oh my God, he called it the part of Africa. Oh, yes. We have nothing that we can claim as Africans of our own, because until today, the Brits, imagine until today, they still have artifacts. What is white people doing with historical things that belong to African people until today? If we are going to play that game of, we want to chase away all the black people, oh my God, from the UK, all the whites must be out of Africa. That's the reality. Oh, they're taking our jobs. Oh, it's the way she said, oh, the Africans, they're taking our jobs. The black people coming and taking our jobs. Well, y'all have been ruling our resources from centuries and centuries until today.
And all the politicians are out there at the moment giving it the big beans on Twitter, blaming everything on the alleged far right, when all of the, or at least most of the videos that are coming out on the internet, and thank God for Elon Musk, by the way, who's actually allowing this footage to be released, seems to be by the same community that was involved with the incident in Manchester breaking the police officer's nose. And let's not forget that, unbelievably, those two smelly people that broke the police officer's nose in Manchester have been released without charge. But they're allowed to get away with it, aren't they? And this is feeding into the riots that are happening because people are now just fed up and sick to death of being labelled racist, far right, the liberal bingo that they like to play all the time, throwing out these buzzwords. And this is just going to continue until the British population, the indigenous population, are listened to instead of being treated like a second-class citizen in their own country. This has just been going on for far too long now, and people are just sick to death of not being able to survive in the cost of living and seeing benefits being thrown out left, right and centre to people who arrive in this country illegally, committing all of these horrible acts which can be prevented if we just finally just take some action and stop more of these vile, disgusting creatures coming onto our shores. I mean, honestly, what do these politicians expect when time and time again, every single day when we wake up and read the newspaper, another horrible act has been committed by the usual suspects and nothing is done about it? Eventually we're going to hit breaking point, and unfortunately I think the breaking point is when innocent children have been stabbed to death whilst attending a dance class by someone who should never have been allowed into this country. I'm not going to sit here and condone what's happening from any community in the UK. However, this really has highlighted that there is two-tier policing happening in the UK right now. And what I really don't understand, and I've been accused of this many times, is being far right. Now, what does far right exactly mean? It's a bit like the word racist. You know, it's been bandied around so much these days that it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Black people get kicked out of Britain. White people get kicked out of Africa too. Y'all, ladies and gentlemen, tell me what you think in the comment section. But from me to you, the black card,